You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Camilla's Shthousery. Now, some of you may not be familiar with what the concept of shithousery is. Somebody who behaves like an absolute shithouse. In essence, it's all about trying to gain an unfair advantage over somebody by essentially winding them up and engaging in gamemanship. It stems from football. And so, for example, the gobby agitators, the sort of pantomime villains, those who engage in the dark arts that are witnessed in football. But those are just euphemistic ways of describing the shithouses that pervade the game at all levels. Some examples of that, well, there's Harold Schumacher, Ryan Shawcross, who used to play for Stoke City, Vinnie Jones, of course, you might have heard of him because of his acting career. He grabbed Paul Gascoigne by the pods in one match, and he was sent off 12 times in his playing days. Mark van Bommel, the Dutch defensive midfielder. Scott Brown, who used to play for Celtic. He really used to get in people's faces and wind them up until one of them would lose their cool. Lee Catamole, who played for Sunderland, had a reputation for ill discipline. Joey Barton, of course, examples of his shithousery, stubbing a cigarette in a teammate's eye and getting a 12-match ban for assaulting Manchester City players on a dramatic finale for the 2012 season. El Hadj Diouf, known for spitting at people. Diego Costa, of course, who makes shithousery look like an art form. You can also throw in there Luis Suarez, Pepe, Duncan Ferguson, Thomas Gravesen, Nigel de Jong, Danny Teatto, Danny Alves, and others. So they're generally people that enjoy the wind-up, and there'll be a few narcissists in amongst that list that I've described. They revel in getting in people's faces and causing them to be wound up. And thus, with Camilla, she is apt to engage in some shithousery. A narcissist herself, she, of course, is driven by the need to assert control over people, to draw fuel from them. And she recognized the difficulties that Harry's wife posed. And as part of her need to assert control over Harry's wife, she recently engaged in some shithousery that many of those footballers that I mentioned previously would roundly applaud. It was done subtly, but it didn't go unnoticed. The Daily Mail, with Bridie Pearson Jones, reports a subtle swipe at Harry's wife. Camilla raises eyebrows after wearing a Dior ensemble to the first day of Ascot, after the brand denied rumours of collaboration with the Duchess of Sussex. This will be no coincidence. Queen Camilla does not like Harry's wife. Harry's wife comes up on her radar as a consequence of the repeated reporting of the Duchess of Overseas. This subconsciously threatens Queen Camilla's need for control over her. Her narcissism is not going to cause her to ring her up and say, "Now listen to me, you little jumped-up oink." Her narcissism won't do that. Perhaps she has no means of directly contacting Harry's wife, or her narcissism recognizes that even an attempt, if it were made, would meet with failure. Thus, it does not take her down that route. Instead, it seeks out an indirect assertion of control, and does so in a way which so typically is undertaken by certain narcissists using plausible deniability. What? Me? I wore Dior to cock a snook for Harry's wife? Oh, I don't think so. I think you're reading too much into it, darling. I had decided weeks ago that I was going to be wearing this outfit for Ascot. No. And then there might come a little wink or a sly smile that comes thereafter. Now remember, Camilla won't recognise that she's doing it for the purposes of control and fuel, but she would know, because her narcissism allows her to know this much, that she's done it to try and wind Harry's wife up. This is no coincidence, but it also provides her with a plausible deniability so that if someone were to accuse her of shithousery, which of course would amount to challenge fuel, she can just deny that outright and nullify the threat just like that. Queen Camilla has raised eyebrows after wearing a Dior dress to royal ascot. Amid speculation, Harry's wife was turned down from collaborating with the brand. The royal opted for a soft cream coat and dress with a matching broad-brimmed hat from the French designer, which she paired with her late mother-in-law's brooch. The choice of Fashion House is surprising after the Duke and Duchess of Sussex were rumoured to be signing a £15 million deal to become ambassadors for the brand, only for sources both close to Harry and Harry's wife and Dior to deny it. See parts passing where it's quite clear that Harry's wife has issued a come and get me, and then when Dior have gone, don't know what you're talking about, she's had to deny the existence of the come and get me. A source told the Telegraph the Duchess of Sussex is not in talks to sign a deal with Dior. There is no truth to the claims that she will partner with the French Fashion House. A Dior insider said its team was nonplussed as to how the story came about. Royal experts have previously claimed the Duchess of Sussex was unresponsive to Queen Consort Camilla's advice to her when she first joined the firm. This, of course, is because Harry's wife thinks that she knows it all, and any suggestion that she does not is a threat to her control, thus she was unresponsive to the advice offered by Camilla. A biography of the Queen Consort, written by Angela Levin, claims the then Duchess of Cornwall organised lunches with Harry's wife and did her best to welcome her into the family, but her advice fell flat with an unresponsive Harry's wife. An extract of Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, a royal survivor, which was published in the Telegraph, Levin claims Camilla was keen to help Harry's wife at the beginning of her relationship with Harry, after herself struggling to be accepted by the royal family, and warmly welcomed her when she first arrived in London. Naturally, once again, this is at odds with what Harry's wife has portrayed, suggesting that people were unfavourable towards her when that was not the case, another revision of history from the Duchess of Overseas. Levin added King Charles, who was then Prince of Wales, enjoyed Harry's wife's company and often spoke to her about theatre and the arts. In an attempt to help the Duchess of Sussex find her feet, the Queen Consort advised on how to handle the pressure of being in the public eye and the scrutiny she would face as a senior member of the royal family. The King and Queen Consort are also said to be wearied by the constant attacks from the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, the Mail on Sunday revealed in December. Buckingham Palace sources said there is mounting frustration, exhaustion at the barrage of complaints that Harry and Harry's wife relentlessly and publicly make about their treatment by the rest of the royal family. While a deal to work with them is not currently happening, the couple appear to be certainly fans of the Fashion House. It then goes on to detail some of the instances where both Harry and Harry's wife have been wearing Dior. Nevertheless, in order to cock a snook at Harry's wife and remind her of who's queen and she's not, Camilla clearly decided to opt for a Dior ensemble for the purposes of asserting control over Harry's wife in a delicious bit of shithousery. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.